Baby Brent Adams is the second child born to Brent and Angie Adams of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Even before baby Brent was born, he was facing challenges. A month and a half before he was born, his parents were told that Brent was diagnosed with a severe, rare heart condition and that he would require heart surgery upon his birth.
The moment he was born on August 14, 2013, he had difficulty breathing. The doctors tried to intubate him, but the tube kept coming out. They tried forcing it and wasn't working. He was flown from Arlington Hospital to Children's Hospital without his parents, as his mom had just given birth. His parents soon received a phone call that the doctors weren't sure that baby Brent would make it. Baby Brent was a mere 5 hours old and fighting for his life. Upon arrival at Children's Hospital, the Adams were told that baby Brent was still in the cardiac intensive care unit and undergoing surgery. They were also told that in addition to his heart condition, Brent was born with an abnormally small airway, which is why the doctor could not get the breathing tube inserted in his throat. During the process of forcing the tube, the doctor had actually torn a hole in baby Brent's throat. With the hole, every breath that he took was letting air into his body. By the time he arrived at Children's Hospital, he was swollen up like a balloon. The doctors inserted chest tubes to release the air trapped in his body. With the air beginning to be released, the doctors then turned their focus on his airway. They had to do an emergency tracheotomy to create a main airway for him. In the end, this saved his life. It's very rare for a newborn to have a trach the day they are born, but baby Brent would soon prove to everyone that he was very special indeed.
Over the next few days and hours, many tests were done and answers sought. As it turned out, the damage from the internal breathing tube, his vocal cords were also damaged. There is still no determination if baby Brent will ever make a sound. At this point, he has never made a single sound.
Additionally, his small airway also showed the need for complete reconstruction, but there was no way to consider that until he was fully healed from his heart surgery, which was scheduled for the following Wednesday. He didn't make it until Wednesday before they had to take action. The Saturday before his scheduled heart surgery, baby Brent went into multi-organ failure. His heart surgeon said something needed to be done to help his heart out temporarily because the complete surgery was out of the question at that time. He decided to cut open his chest and place PA bands on the arteries to slow the blood flow from his lungs and his heart. Once they opened his chest, they could not get it closed because of the fluid overload state. Since he was in kidney failure, he retained all the fluid, and the doctors decided to leave his chest open and put in an emergency dialysis catheter and start dialysis immediately. Another surgery. Inserting the catheter was risky because of his state, but there was nothing else that could be done. This was Brent's only chance. He was placed on 3 different blood pressure medicines, a pacer, a ventilator, and was kept heavily sedated for days. With his open chest, you could see his heart beating through the window. The infection risk was high with the trach, open chest, and PD catheter, but all of it was necessary. His chest was open for 12 days, which was unheard of in the cardiac intensive care unit. When they finally closed it, they had no struggle whatsoever, which was a huge relief.
Now, on top of all the near-death experiences baby Brent encountered, his doctors discovered several level 2 and level 4 brain bleeds. Level 4 is the largest brain bleed you could ever have, and it does cause some damage. Baby Brent was having seizures that were lasting about 10 seconds a piece, and there were many of them back to back. Only time will tell the full effects of the bleeding to his brain. In October 2013, he had his heart surgery. Within 3 days, they were able to close his chest back. He recovered better than expected.
A couple of weeks later, it was discovered that baby Brent had an extremely rare 1% diagnosis from the DiGeorge syndrome, which goes hand in hand with his heart condition. He completely lacks T cells. He is now diagnosed with Complete DiGeorge. At this point, it is determined that baby Brent needs a thymus transplant or alternative bone marrow transplant as soon as possible. They are available on a research basis at Duke University in North Carolina. Baby Brent was allowed to go home but lives in a bubble of sorts. At this point, the medical world sees baby Brent as a mystery. It's rare for a child with DiGeorge and no T cells to have a trach also. They still don't have an explanation as to why he was born with a small airway, but it's not the typical side effect associated with DiGeorge or his heart condition. Infants with complete DiGeorge like Brent usually don't live past the age of 2. The fatality isn't just due to the lack of T cells, immunosuppressant, it's also the hypocalcemia that takes part in it. At the end of January 2014, Baby Brent stopped breathing in the middle of the night. After being flown to Children's Hospital, they found that his trach rubbed so much it popped a blood vessel. His parents were able to save his life until they made it to the hospital. Baby Brent was once again sent home with a newly positioned trach. He's home now. In March, he had a checkup appointment with his cardiologist, and his cardiologist said that his heart looks perfect. He's healed beautifully from his heart surgery, and his heart has thinned out to normal. His arteries have opened up where they put bands on it, and his heart condition took over for the multi-organ failure. He'll need future open heart surgeries, but for the next 2 to 3 years, his heart should not be an issue. At home, Baby Brent's fighting fevers and small things with antibiotics. His parents are preparing for their next journey. The doctors have decided that the bone marrow transplant is not the best option for Baby Brent, but their options are very limited, as is their time. Doctors have not seen an exact kid like Brent ever. In the past 20 years, there have been 2 bone marrow transplants done to fix T cells, and even those 2 patients weren't completely lacking T cells like Baby Brent. It's terrifying that there is no success story to compare Baby Brent to. He's come a long way. His mother, his father, and big sister have been through so much in less than a year.
They have made it with lots of love and lots of prayer, but their journey is not over. They have incurred astronomical medical bills, and the expenses are overwhelming for their young family. Additionally, Baby Brent requires 24-hour care and cannot be exposed to other children, as in a daycare, etc.
We're holding a fundraiser charity event for Baby Brent at the Fairgrounds in Fredericksburg on July the 12th. It's open to all in the community, and we ask that anybody and everyone come to be a part of our special day. You can also donate online at www.gofundme.com/Baby Brent. 100% of the proceeds from all of our fundraising efforts will go directly to the Adams family. Please join us for our Sunshine Charity event. We'll have all kinds of fun things to do, including a cornhole tournament, live music, a bluegrass band, a magician show, moon bounces, face painting, food vendors, and also vendors from local businesses within our community. The cost for the event is $5 per ticket. Children 12 and under get in free.